What is good, IE Sports Radio fans? It is your boy, the SoCal Saint, back at it again with another new edition of the premier professional wrestling podcast on the IE Sports Radio Network, which is your direct feed for all that is sports, the IE Wrestling Show. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in live here on this odd, chilly day here in February. Texas is having some bipolar weather. The last 2 days have been over 90 degrees. I wake up today and it is 44 degrees outside right now. So I swear, Texas is the only state that I've ever been in that you can experience all 4 seasons in the same week. But hey, it's all good. I'm chilling here live with y'all. I'm glad to be here. I love doing this show for you guys, especially during this season, which is, of course, the WrestleMania season. Shout out to the head honcho in the chat room, Larry B. What's good, brother? I'm so glad you're in the chat room. I hope you enjoyed today's festivities. We got a lot to talk about. Again, I just want to thank everyone for tuning in live on the Spreaker. If you're listening later on one of the downloads on one of our many platforms that we're a part of, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. If you're listening on YouTube after, please do us a favor. If you like what we do here, give a like, a share, a subscribe. Follow me on the X at IE Wrestling Show. That's at IE Wrestling Show. Follow the main page at IE Sports Radio, where you can get constant updates on all of our various shows on the platform, updated schedules, links to all of our shows, live podcast links when we're on the air. Also, check out our awesome website at iesportsradio.com. You can actually join for free, and you can interact with a lot of the hosts on the IE Sports Radio platform. Also, if you're a fan of what we do here and you're just now starting to listen to our shows and you want to listen to some episodes that you've missed, all of our libraries for all of our shows are actually linked to that website as well, so you can catch up and be caught up with all the diehard fans that listen to us on a weekly basis. And if you really are a diehard IE Sports Radio fan, throw some shekels our way in our shop, our IE Sports Radio merch store, and buy yourself an IE Sports Radio hat, a shirt, a hoodie. You know, show your loyalty, show your love for IE Sports Radio, because we do it for y'all on a weekly basis by sitting here and doing these shows for you, the passionate sports fan. I swear, IE Sports Radio is the platform by passionate sports fans for passionate sports fans. That should be a new logo or a new not a logo. That should be a new quote or catchphrase for us on the back of one of our shirts, man. That's for you, Larry. I gave you that. That one's for free, brother. That one's for free. Also, check out our awesome sponsor, PlanetJerky.net. That's PlanetJerky.net. 100% beef brisket beef jerky. Delicious beef jerky. I've had it myself. It just melts in your mouth. Delicious. Go to PlanetJerky.net and order yourself some delicious 100% beef brisket jerky. This jerky is on a whole other planet. Ooh, yeah. Shout out to Taryn Rodriguez and Jen B in the chat room just joining us. Thank you guys. So I don't want to start off on a somber note, but I think to pep up our spirits, we're going to start off with a somber note, and then we're going to go into all the other news that we have. But first, if you're tuning in live, I am the first show on the docket for the Wednesday schedule for IE Sports Radio. After my show goes off the air, guys, please stick around and check out all of the rest of our awesome Wednesday scheduled shows. We got coming in later on in the afternoon at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We got the Carolina Cast with John. Following that, we got Spaced Out Sports. After that, we got the East Coast Red and Gold Show with Jess, Ty, Bex, and Matt. Then we have later on in the evening tonight, we have the Bayou Bulletin. And then finally, we cap off Wednesday evening with the Heart of Texas Sports with It's Drewski. So we got a lot of awesome shows on the docket today. I'm always the tippy top of the show schedule. I love kicking off Wednesdays for you guys. I really appreciate it that you guys tuning in live. So, got a lot to talk about in the world of professional wrestling. Unfortunately, one of those things we have to talk about is some breaking news that actually broke this morning just before I sent out my X post about my show going live in 1 hour, just an hour ago, I woke up to some sad news. WWE legend Virgil, I don't know if many people were fans of the WWF at the time, back in the quote-unquote golden era, back in the 1980s. He was the manager slash kind of, I know this is politically incorrect term of manservant, Virgil. He was the manager slash manservant to the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Later on in his career, he would break the quote-unquote chains of servitude of the $1 Million Man and go off on his own. He had a nice big babyface turn and had a nice feud with the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, even taking away the $1 Million Championship from the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. Virgil would go on to have a decent career in the WWF. Then he would venture over to WCW in the late 90s during the rise of the NWO, the New World Order for life, where he would end up being known as Vincent and being the head of security for the New World Order until WCW's demise. Virgil, unfortunately, has passed away today. That's the unfortunate news. Michael Jones is his real name. This was a post given out by one of his family members on the X. My dear friends, it is with great sorrow that I bring news from the Jones family of the passing of our beloved Michael Jones, whom we know and loved as Virgil, Vincent, Soul Train Jones, and more. Virgil passed peacefully at the hospital this morning, and I ask that you pray for him and for his family. May his memory be eternal. So that's some really unfortunate news in the world of professional wrestling. We lost another brother, another good brother in the world of professional wrestling. Shout out to the Jones family in this time of grief. I can speak for my IE Sports Radio colleagues and the fans of the IE Wrestling Show and myself. I pray for their family. I pray for, the loving arms of the Lord to just come over them, just wash over them, and just be with them in this time of need. Rest in peace to you, Virgil. You're one of the good ones. Rest in peace. If you are a fan of wrestling video games like I am, I know you guys are eager that just in 1 week's time, the next installment of the WWE 2K series is about to release, and man, it is jam-packed. Boy, is it jam-packed. This is probably, arguably, the biggest roster in the history of this video game. It has to be. I mean, this is the list right here. I'm about to lay it on you guys. It was just announced by 2K Games and the WWE that the WWE 2K24 is set to release next Friday, March 8th, while people who have purchased either the Deluxe Edition or the Icon Edition will get early access on March 5th. The game will be available on platforms PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, S, Xbox One, and PC. And this is the full list of roster members. This is under the Legends and Alumni banner. These are all playable characters, guys. The Macho Man Randy Savage. Ooh, yeah. Ravishing Rick Rude, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Superstar Billy Graham, Andre the Giant, one of the most successful recording artists of the modern era, Bad Bunny, the Animal Batista, the Glamazon Beth Phoenix, the Big Boss Man, the Boogeyman, Booker T, sucker. R.I.P. to this man, but thank God he's in this video game as a playable character for all of his fans that miss him dearly. Of course, I'm talking about Bray Wyatt. And apparently Bray Wyatt has different versions of him that are going to be playable. You can play as Funhouse Bray Wyatt with the turtleneck sweater and the collared shirt underneath. You can play as Wyatt family era Bray Wyatt. And The Fiend Bray Wyatt will also be playable in this game. So I'm really excited about that. The best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. Bret the Hitman Hart, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith, Bruno San Martino, Cactus Jack, bang bang! China, the ninth wonder of the world, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Doink the Clown, Do Love, ow, have mercy! The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, baby. Eddie Guerrero, Latino Heat, that's right. Eric Bischoff, Eve Torres, Farouk, Harley Race, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Jake the Snake Roberts, JBL, Jerry the King Lawler, Jim the Anvil Neidhart, John Cena is now a part of the Legends/alumni portion of the roster. The Big Red Machine, Kane, Kevin Nash, Lita, Mankind, Maurice, Mighty Molly, Molly Holly, for the first time ever, included in a 2K series game, will be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, boxer of all time. He floats like a butterfly and he stings like a bee. Rest in peace to the memory of Muhammad Ali, making his debut in a WWE video game. That's right, Muhammad Ali will be a playable character in the 2K series video game. The Icon edition of this video game is 40 years of WrestleMania. You can't have a 40 years of WrestleMania game without the man who was the special enforcer to the main event of the very first WrestleMania. That man was none other than Muhammad Ali. So I believe that's the reason for his inclusion in this game. Rick Steiner, Rikishi, Rob Van Dam, Ronda Rousey is now a part of the alumni portion of the roster. Scott Hall, Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, Shane O'Mac, Shane McMahon, The Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, Stacy Keibler, Stephanie McMahon. If you pre-order the WWE game, you get in the Nightmare Pack of the DLC, you get playable characters that used to be played by the current American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Of course, Stardust is going to be a playable character in the game. Six, a.k.a. X-Pac, that's Six, that's the NWO era character that he played back in WCW. The $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. The Hurricane. The Rock. The Undertaker. Triple H. Trish Stratus. Tyler Breeze. The Ultimate Warrior. Umaga. Uncle Howdy is back in the game. The man they call Vader. Wade Barrett. William Regal returns to the WWE 2K series now that he's back under the WWE umbrella. X-Pac, his DX era character, is back. Yokozuna rounds out the Legends alumni list that is playable upon release. And on the Raw roster, you have Akira Tozawa, Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Big E, Braun Strowman, making his 2K debut, Bronson Reed, Candice LeRae, Carmella, Cedric Alexander, Chad Gable, Chelsea Green, Chad Gable, Cody Rhodes, that's right, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, of course. He's also on the cover of the Standard Edition. On the cover of the Deluxe Edition is Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. Awesome, congratulations to those ladies. And on the Icon Edition, it is a plethora of WrestleMania legends. You got The Rock, John Cena, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart, Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, The Undertaker, a whole bunch of different faces on the cover of the Icon Edition. Damian Priest, Dexter Lumis, Dominic Mysterio, Eric, Finn Balor, Giovanni Vinci, Gunter, Andy Hartwell, Ivar, JD McDonough, Main Event Jey Uso, Johnny Gargano, Kofi Kingston, Liv Morgan, Ludwig Kaiser, Maxine Dupree, Natalia, Nikki Cross, Otis, Piper Niven, Raquel Rodriguez, Rhea Ripley, Ricochet, R-Truth, Sami Zayn, Seth freaking Rollins, Shayna Baszler, Shinsuke Nakamura, Sonya Deville, Tegan Nox, The Miz, Tommaso Ciampa, Valhalla, Xavier Woods, Zoe Stark. And then on the SmackDown side of things, you got AJ Styles, Elbow Fire, Angelo Dawkins, Ashanti Viadonis, Asuka, Austin Theory, Bayley, Bobby Lashley, Butch, Cameron Grimes, Charlotte Flair, Cruz del Toro, Dakota Kai, Elton Prince, Grayson Waller, Isla Dawn, Io Sky, Jimmy Uso, Joaquin Wilde, Karrion Kross, Katana Chance and Caden Carter, Kevin Owens, Kit Wilson, L.A. Knight, yeah, Logan Paul, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, the Good Brothers, Michin, Mia Yim, Montez Ford, MVP and Omos, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, Ridge Holland, Robert Roode, Roman Reigns, of course, the Tribal Chief, Santos Escobar, Scarlett will now be a playable character this year, Shotzi, Sheamus, Solo Sikoa, Tamina, Xia Li, and Zelina Vega. On the NXT roster, we got Andre Chase, Angel Garza, Apollo Crews, Axiom, Baron Corbin, Blair Davenport, Braun Breaker, Brooks Jensen, Brutus Creed, Carmelo Hayes, Channing Stacks Lorenzo, Cora Jade, Damon Camp, Dijak, Drew Gulak, Duke Hudson, Fallon Henley, Gigi Dolan, Umberto, Ela Dragunov, Eva Nile, JC Jane, Jinder Mahal, Joe Coffey, Joe Gacy, Josh Briggs, Julius Creed, Nathan Frazier, Nikita Lyons, Noam Dar, Roxanne Perez, Senga, Scripps, Thea Hale, Tiffany Stratton, Tony D'Angelo, Whoop That Trick, Trick Williams, Tyler Bate, Veer Mahan, Wendy Chu, Wesley, Wolfgang rounds out the NXT roster. And WWE 2K just released the list for the DLC packs that are going to be coming out over the course of the year. And man, is everyone losing their freaking mind online about that, because for the first time since 2K15, we will have the return of the voice of the voiceless for the first time in over 10 years in a WWE video game. CM Punk made the cut. I know CM Punk didn't return to the WWE until late November, but CM Punk somehow made the cut, and he will be a part of the very first DLC pack that's released in May of this year, and it will be CM Punk, the Dudley Boys, the Sandman, Terry Funk, rounding out that DLC pack. Other DLC packs will include other legends and current stars like Jade Cargill, Kairi Sane, Nia Jax, Mr. Perfect, who else? I'm trying to think. I've lost my train. Oh, and another internationally recognized recording artist is going to be a playable character in the DLC pack. I, of course, am talking about the man who did the soundtrack for this game randomly, Post Malone. Yes, Posty is going to be a playable character in this video game, as well as Bad Bunny. Not only that, NFL great and current Raw announced team member with Michael Cole, Pat McAfee, is going to be making his WWE video game debut finally. He should have been in last year's game, which I don't know why the hell he wasn't, but here we go. Pat McAfee is going to finally make a debut in a WWE 2K game as a playable character. I cannot wait. I'm good. This Friday, I'm planning on purchasing the Icon Edition, and I'm going to be ready to play this game when it comes out March 5th. I'm going to get early access, and I can't fucking wait. I'm so excited, guys. You can tell my excitement as I went down that list. Speaking, I know one of the names I mentioned in the game that was a playable character we haven't seen on WWE TV as a professional wrestler in recent times. Of course, I'm talking about Glorious Robert Roode. Glorious Robert Roode actually was just on the Chris Van Vliet show where he did a nice interview, and he talked about that. Chris Van Vliet asked him what's his future currently in terms of getting back in the ring, and this is what Robert Roode had to say. He is actually cleared to wrestle, but he doesn't want another full-time run, and he is happy currently in his role as a backstage producer. And this is a quote directly from him. Ironically enough, I just got green-lighted. The fusion has completely fused, so as far as looking at it from a medical point of view, it's safe to get back in the ring, I guess. But at almost 48 years old, given the opportunity I've been given now to work as a producer, which was my goal coming to WWE almost 8 years ago, I'm quite happy doing this. And I feel like I've had a good run, as they say, and I'm happy to be doing what I'm doing now. So there's the definitive answer for anyone that was wondering what has happened to Robert Roode. He did have a really great run, I would say, in the WWE his last few years as an active competitor. He had a really great run in NXT. He was a two-time NXT champion, and then he got called up to the main roster where he became a multiple-time tag team champion and a former United States champion. He had a chance to compete at a WrestleMania, which for a lot of guys, that is sometimes a lot of guys say they want to be world champion and they want to compete at WrestleMania. Sometimes you only get one or the other, if not neither one of them. Robert Roode was lucky to have competed at a WrestleMania, which a lot of wrestlers, say that's the end all be all. So I feel like, if Robert Roode is content with the way his career went, then we as fans should be content and happy for him. And he's been putting on some great matches. I know the match that that received a lot of praise late last year was that Intercontinental title match between Gunther and Chad Gable on Monday Night Raw, that main evented Raw, that I forgot what month that was, but that was actually produced by Robert Roode. And Robert Roode is one of the champions, one of the partners that he was tag team champions with was, of course, Chad Gable. So it goes without saying, and he sung Chad Gable's praises in that interview. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. Go to Chris Van Vliet's YouTube channel and check out. Chris Van Vliet is an awesome interviewer. He puts on really great interviews, especially with wrestlers. He has a really interesting interview with the son of Ice Cube, O'Shea Jackson Jr., that was making the rounds and set off a lot of AEW neckbeards because of what he had to say about the AEW product. So you definitely want to check that out. Speaking of AEW, it was reported this past week and announced officially by Tony Khan himself that former WWE writer and member of the creative team, Jennifer Pepperman, is now going to be a part of AEW as their vice president of content development. Pepperman's departure from the WWE, where she served as a senior writer and producer since 2017, marked a transition from her recent focus on the women's division on SmackDown. Teaming up with Tony Khan, Pepperman's main responsibility will revolve around the development of content for AEW's live programming. Khan expressed enthusiasm for Pepperman's addition, stating, adding Jennifer Pepperman's brilliant mind to the AEW team opens the door for exciting new ideas and will help us build upon the incredible stories currently developing on the road to AEW Revolution across our 3 weekly shows on TBS and TNT, and the effects of Jennifer's arrival in AEW will be felt for many years in the future. We're thrilled to welcome her here today, and I look forward to her creativity and collaboration with our team across the board in what will be AEW's biggest year yet and beyond. Okay, so definitely a huge diversion from the original plan of AEW, because whenever AEW was launched, the main thing that they always talked about was there are no writers. The boys and the girls were going to get together and they were going to come up with a plan. Like, you're going to have just basically a basic plan that you're going to work off of. You're not going to have someone writing your promos, not someone basically writing your story for you. You were going to work the kinks out and do that yourself. You know, that was one of the main driving points of AEW upon its launch back in 2019. And now here we are, 2024, and we're hiring a writer from the WWE to work for the company to do what you initially said was not going to ever be done in your company. Which I feel like is Tony Khan somewhat admitting that I can't do this all by myself. I can't write the shows like I believe in my mind I can. And maybe he's tired of seeing half-empty arenas week in and week out at all his television tapings. So another thing is a rumor going around why she was hired in the first place was because apparently she has a really close relationship with Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, in the WWE, and she will be the personal writer to Mercedes Moné, much like how Brian Gewirtz works for The Rock and is The Rock's personal writer. And Brian Gewirtz used to be a writer for the WWE. He used to be the head of creative, or one of the head writers for Monday Night Raw, until he left the WWE to go work exclusively for The Rock, which he currently still does. And that was the way it was kind of compared in comparison. I wouldn't put Mercedes on the same level as Rock. Nowhere. No way, no how. She is nowhere near the same level as The Rock. So, we'll see how that works out. I mean, I don't know. I just don't know, guys. So apparently, some big wins happened over the weekend in Japan at I forgot what the name of the event was. I do apologize, but they had a big event in Japan where two former WWE superstars won gold in Japan for New Japan Pro Wrestling. Formerly known as Dolph Ziggler, Nick Nemeth defeated David Finlay with the Danger Zone to become the second IWGP Global Heavyweight Champion. And another former WWE superstar, Matt Riddle, the Super Bro Matt Riddle, defeated Hiroshi Tanahashi. Big win for Matt Riddle, defeating a Japanese wrestling legend like Hiroshi Tanahashi to become the new NJPW World Television Champion. So, wow. Two former WWE superstars draped in gold. Things have definitely changed in the world of New Japan Pro Wrestling, where they have, foreigners winning championships like this, especially two on the same night. So congratulations to Nemeth and Riddle becoming Global Heavyweight Champion and Television Champion. Speaking of New Japan, they just released the brackets for their next big event that's set to start March 6th through March 20th. It'll be the New Japan Cup, the yearly bracket, the New Japan Cup, where the winner, I believe, gets a World Championship match at the summer event known as Dominion. 4 prior winners receive buys to the next round. So this is what the current status of the New Japan Cup for 2024 starts off. 28 entrants in this spring classic. Jungle Boy Jack Perry makes his official wrestling debut for New Japan during this. And this is the terms of the event here. So the 4 wrestlers that have gotten buys to the next rounds already are Hiroki Goto, Zack Sabre Jr., Evil, and the former IWGP Heavyweight Champion of the World, Sanada. And then the brackets continue as such. Sanada will face the winner of Yoshihashi and Kenta. Then we have Shoto Omuni taking on Jack Perry. Toru Yano taking on Yujiro Takahashi. TJP will go one-on-one with David Finlay. Tangaloa will go one-on-one with Great Khan. And the winner of Tomohiro Ishii and Chase Owens will face Hiroki Goto. The winner of Taichi and Ren Narita will take on Zack Sabre Jr. Then we have Mikey Nichols taking on El Phantasmo. Jeff Cobb taking on Yota Tsuji. Gabe Kidd taking on Callum Newman. Yuya Umori taking on Shingo Takagi. And the winner of Hikalua and Bolton Oleg will take on Evil. So that is the brackets for the New Japan Cup of 2024, set to start March 6th, concluding on March 20th. Got some TNA news here. So TNA apparently was set to have a big event. Their next pay-per-view event in April would have been in, apparently, the Hammerstein Ballroom of New York City, which I think is a great venue. I love that venue. It comes across great on television. I've never personally been there, but that's definitely somewhere I would love to go if I ever travel to the East Coast and go to New York. Maybe even catch a wrestling show if possible, if there is one there. But the Hammerstein Ballroom famously was the site of the final ECW pay-per-view in ECW's lineage. Then WWE brought 2 ECW One Night Stand events there, as well as an ECW television taping there. And TNA famously did a couple of television tapings, and I believe one pay-per-view there, I think, back in the mid-2000s. And so that was the original plan for their next pay-per-view event, which is entitled Rebellion. Apparently, their parent company, Anthem, decided to put a kibosh on that and decided they're going to go back to where they originally started the year off at the Palms Resort in Paradise, Nevada, a suburb of Las Vegas, Nevada, where they had the pay-per-view Hard to Kill. So now TNA Rebellion will take place Saturday, April 20th at the Palms Resort in Paradise, Nevada. And speaking of TNA, we have some more backstage news about the talent meeting that took place prior to the No Surrender pay-per-view this past weekend. This past week because it was on Friday. TNA Wrestling conducted a talent meeting during their recent television taping on Saturday night. The meeting, attended by some of the new executives within the company, aimed to address the transition in leadership and provide clarity on their future direction. Wrestlers also had individual discussions with higher-ups. According to Fightful Select, the prevailing sentiment among talent was a desire to maintain the momentum and unity they had built collectively, despite reservations about the decision to replace former TNA president Scott D'Amore. One prominent wrestler reportedly contemplated leaving the company but opted to participate in the taping and evaluate the situation after the meeting. The new leadership demonstrated receptiveness to feedback from the talent roster, fostering a sense of optimism about the future and trajectory of TNA. While some hoped for D'Amour's eventual return, it is not anticipated to occur. So it looks like the talent and the executives have come together. So, I mean, we'll just have to keep an eye out, and I will keep you all updated and see what's going on in the world of TNA. Hopefully, the momentum does keep continuing for TNA, because I know they've had a lot of great stuff recently, and I don't want to see it fall by the wayside. Got some awesome WWE news. This news right here, while these awards don't mean anything to anyone with any, meaning of clout in the world of professional wrestling, it definitely means something to someone, aka Tony Khan, who definitely probably had a fucking meltdown when he saw these results. So, this past week, the results of the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards for the year 2023 came out. And these are voted on by the faithful listeners, quote-unquote, of the Wrestling Observer Newsletter. These are the winners of these categories. For Best Pro Wrestling Documentary, Dark Side of the Ring won that, which, I mean, that's pretty spot on. That's a great show. Best Pro Wrestling Book, The Last Real World Champion by Tim Hornbecker. The Worst Gimmick, The Devil of AEW. Spot on. That is fucking garbage. It was garbage from start to finish. Best Gimmick, Timeless Tony Storm. I don't really get it. I really don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get the whole love of it. This right here. This oh my god. This right here. These next two is definitely, and there's a third one. So there's three of them. I'm sure Tony Khan had a fucking meltdown. He probably cried like a little girl sitting in the shower eating some Oreos. Best Promoter of the Year, WWE President Nick Khan. Best Booker of the Year, Paul Triple H Levesque of the WWE. Tony Khan has always been proud of these quote-unquote achievements that he would get from the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards, because he was, as he would remind everyone anytime he could get, that he was a 3-time winner. No, that streak is now broken, boy, because Triple H and Nick Khan have both beat Tony Khan in these categories by a wide margin. Worst Promotion of the Year, the NWA. Sorry, Billy Corgan. Worst Feud of the Year, MJF versus the Devil. Spot on. Worst Worked Match of the Year, Bray Wyatt versus LA Knight at the Royal Rumble, the Lights Out match. That's unfortunate. I mean, that is technically Bray Wyatt's last match. It's unfortunate that this actually won Worst Worked Match. You would think people would have a little more respect for Bray and not, would vote for something different, but, whatever. Best Wrestling Maneuver, Will Ospreay's Hidden Blade. That is such a... If I can describe what the move is, the opponent is sitting up, kind of with their head leaning forward a little bit, and Will Ospreay will stand behind them at a short distance and run and hit them in the back of the neck with his forearm. I definitely wouldn't call it the best maneuver in wrestling. Most disgusting promotional tactic, WWE enabling Vince McMahon and him being back in power, TKO keeping him in a position of power. That's probably true. Yeah, that was for the earlier half of the year of 2023, so yeah. Worst television show, NWA Power. Oof. Worst major wrestling show, WWE Crown Jewel. Yeah. Best major wrestling show. Now, this is fucking dumb. AEW Revolution? No. Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely fucking not. Worst television announcer, Booker T. That's kind of fucked up. I like Booker. I think he's alright. Best television announcer, AEW's Excalibur. Best non-wrestler, Don Callis. That's bullshit. That should have gone to Paul Heyman, for certain. Rookie of the Year, Yuma Anzai. Most underrated wrestler of the year, Chad Gable. Spot on. Most overrated, Sonata of NJPW. Best flying wrestler, El Hijo del Vikingo. Okay. Bruiser Brody Memorial Award / Best Brawler, Jon Moxley. Because he likes to bleed, I guess? I don't know. Bryan Danielson Award / Best Technical Wrestler, Bryan Danielson. How do you have a award named after you, and then he wins that same award? That's... What? That doesn't make... Oh my... Whatever. Like I said, these don't mean shit. Most Charismatic, MJF. Most Improved, Julie Hart. I disagree. Feud of the Year, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens versus the Bloodline. Definitely agree. Best Box Office Draw, Roman Reigns. Agree. Women's Wrestling MVP, Rhea Ripley. Agree. Hodge Award, Non-Heavyweight MVP, El Hijo del Vikingo. Okay. Europe MVP, Will Ospreay. Alright. Mexico MVP, Mystico. Okay. Koji Yoshizawa Award, Japanese MVP, Will Ospreay. United States / Canada MVP, Cody Rhodes. Agree. Match of the Year, Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay, Wrestle Kingdom 17. I mean, it was great. Match of the Year? Not for me. Best Weekly TV Show. Now, this is bullshit right here. AEW Dynamite. How the fuck did AEW Dynamite beat Raw? Not only that, how did it even beat fucking SmackDown? Because SmackDown has been untouchable all year long in 2023. There's no fucking way that an episode of Dynamite was better than SmackDown. Just check the ratings. You can see that SmackDown had double the viewers that AEW's Dynamite always had. Now that's, you can tell that, oh god, that's gross. That makes me want to puke. That's just so gross. This one right here definitely made Tony Khan cry and probably, stain his little panties. Promotion of the Year, WWE. That I definitely agree with. Best on Interviews, Eddie Kingston. What the fuck? Tag Team of the Year, FTR. Most Outstanding, Will Ospreay. Wrestler of the Year, Will Ospreay. Ugh. Okay, so that's the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Awards for the year of 2023. Got some WWE news before we take a quick break and get into some results from TNA No Surrender and WWE Elimination Chamber, guys. So, apparently there is some talk about Rocky himself, Sylvester Stallone, being involved with WrestleMania 40. The build towards WWE WrestleMania 40 has begun ahead of this year's event at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Some of the matches on tap for the show have been confirmed, as Cody Rhodes will challenge Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Championship, and Io Sky will defend the women's title against Bayley. It's expected that The Rock and Reigns will also team together against Rhodes and World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins, but that's still just a rumor and has not been confirmed yet. As the event gets closer, more bouts will be revealed. WrestleVotes reports WWE has an interest in working with Sylvester Stallone at the event, as he most notably inducted Hulk Hogan into the WWE Hall of Fame in 2005. The tie-in could have something to do with the Rocky franchise, since the character is tied to Philadelphia, where WrestleMania is being held this year. Hulk Hogan was a part of the Rocky franchise, playing the role of Thunder Lips in Rocky 3. Sources within WWE indicate there is interest in collaborating with Sylvester Stallone for WrestleMania in some form. While any communication status is unclear, I'm told there's hope for it. Whether it ultimately ends up happening or not is still to be determined. Stallone, born in NYC, gained fame through the iconic Rocky films, deeply associated with Philadelphia. Additionally, Stallone is no stranger to the WWE world, having inducted Hulk Hogan into the Hall of Fame in 2005. So, yo, Adrian, it's fight night. It's WrestleMania, the biggest, grandest stage of them all. I know a little something about that. I fought Clubber Lang, Apollo Creed, rest in peace, Drago. If there's one thing I know about wrestlers and fighters, is that they're all about doing what they can to be the best. Hey, yo, Adrian, I did it! How about that? That was pretty good Rocky, right? I'm hoping that'd be cool to see Stallone do something. Maybe get Stallone to do like the opening video, the intro to WrestleMania, just like last year they had Kevin Hart doing the intro to WrestleMania in Hollywood. So it'd be really cool to see Sylvester Stallone do the opening video intro into WrestleMania. So fingers crossed, that'd be really cool to see. There's been talks about WrestleMania plans for Gunther, because I know before all this travesty and all this crap with Vince McMahon and now Brock Lesnar being tied to all that, Brock Lesnar is persona non grata. He is he who should not be named. He is the Voldemort of the WWE currently. He is gone, never to return as far as we know. So the dream match that should have been set to start booking at for WrestleMania at the Rumble never took place. And so the working idea for Gunther, for his WrestleMania opponent, is as follows. Here we go. I'm trying to pull it up here. So there have been initial rumors suggesting that Sami Zayn would be Gunther's potential challenger for the Intercontinental title. However, recent developments such as the tease of a multi-man match on Raw indicate the plans may have shifted. On the Wrestling Observer newsletter radio show, take it with a grain of salt, Dave Meltzer has hinted at these potential changes, leaving fans intrigued about what surprises WrestleMania 40 has in store. Because this past Monday Night on Raw, we had a lot of back and forth between a lot of past and present challengers to Gunther's Intercontinental title. The Judgment Day came out. Damian Priest kind of implied he wanted to challenge Gunther, even Dominic Mysterio. Then you had Chad Gable going up to Adam Pearce saying that he wants another go at Gunther. Sami Zayn making it his presence known that he wants a shot at Gunther. I wouldn't be surprised if they do some sort of multi-man match, possibly a ladder match for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. If this is a way of getting the Intercontinental title off of Gunther with keeping him looking strong where he doesn't get pinned or submitted, this is probably the best case scenario for him to lose the Intercontinental Championship and then move on to the heavyweight division and go after the World Heavyweight title post-WrestleMania season. That's how I would do it. If Triple H is smart, which he is in terms of storytelling, I think that's the path that Triple H is going to take. Another thing rumored going around is that apparently instead of a one-on-one match, which seemed to have been teased by the end of the men's elimination chamber match, that it would be Randy Orton going one-on-one with Logan Paul for the United States title. I think Logan Paul, the rumor going around is that he may defend the title in a multi-man match involving Randy Orton. So we will see. We'll keep you all posted because WrestleMania season is heating up. We're just less than 40 days away from WrestleMania, guys. We're getting so close, and every show from here on out is just as important as the next because it's building and building and building to the cap-off of WrestleMania weekend, guys. Big rumor going around that I believe we'll know for sure. That according to Wrestling Observer newsletter, so definitely take this with a grain of salt, former NJPW superstar, multiple-time tag team champion, multiple-time never openweight champion, one of the founding members of Bullet Club, Tama Tonga, is headed to the WWE. Tama Tonga is definitely an honorary member, legitimately an honorary member of the Anoa'i family, as he is the son of wrestling legend Haku, who is an honorary member of the Anoa'i family, not a direct blood descendant, but has always been considered family by The Rock and the Usos and Roman Reigns. So Tama Tonga is basically like a second cousin, a distant cousin of the Bloodline. Tama Tonga is going to be joining the WWE. I don't know if he's going to be starting in NXT or if he's going to be called up directly to the main event, the main roster. So we shall see. All right, guys, we're going to take a short little break here, and we'll be back with some more wrestling news. Stay tuned, guys. Stay tuned.
Yo, what's going down? This is Spaced Out Sports with your host, J-Man, giving you all Houston sports straight from the source, brought to you IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. In this show, we're going to talk about everything Houston through and through, and everything. We're going to talk about the surrounding areas. We're going to talk about local sports, everything in Texas in general, mainly Houston, but we're going to talk about everything in the sports world. I want to hear from y'all. Y'all definitely going to hear from me. We're going to go from anything all over, from football to MMA to everything. Let's have a good show. I'm looking forward to hearing from the city. Y'all make sure y'all just check me out every Wednesday right here at Spaced Out Sports, brought to you by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Let's go.
What's good, everyone? It's Drewski, the host of Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. On this station, we cover everything in the Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas area. From we cover the Dallas Cowboys, the Dallas Stars, Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Wings, Texas Rangers, TCU, SMU, we cover it all right here every Wednesdays from 9 to 10 p.m. Central Time. Make sure you stay live with me on the Heart of Texas Sports on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's good, IE Sports Radio fans? Welcome back to the IE Wrestling Show, your direct feed for all that is professional wrestling on the only network that is your direct feed for all that is sports, IE Sports Radio. Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you're just tuning in, we went over some wrestling news, some unfortunate news. Again, shout out to the family of Michael Jones, a.k.a. Virgil, a.k.a. Vincent. We send our condolences, love, and prayers to their family with the recent passing of Virgil. It's so unfortunate to hear. But I just pray that his family heals in this time of need and gets a lot of love and support from their surrounding friends and family and fans of Virgil, which the wrestling community always seems to come together when one of our brothers or sisters in wrestling passes away. That I can attest to after seeing so many wrestlers come and go during my time here on this earth, that wrestling fans can be extremely toxic. Don't get me wrong, they can be extremely toxic. But when wrestlers, men and women, lose their life and they've been a part of your life for so long in terms of watching them live or watching them on television, we always seem to come together and show our support for those brothers and sisters and their families. So, we got some stuff to talk about. I know just before the break, I said I was going to go into No Surrenders results and Elimination Chamber Perth, but I know I'm running a little bit low on time. And there's a big wrestling event for AEW this coming weekend that I can't ignore. I have to talk about. I know I'm not the biggest AEW fan in the world, but if at all, but a big moment in wrestling is happening this coming weekend, and I have to talk about it real quick. It is AEW Revolution, which will be live this coming Sunday? Yeah, it's Sunday. This coming Sunday, March 3rd, 2024, in the Greensboro Coliseum in Greensboro, North Carolina. This will be AEW's first pay-per-view to be held in North Carolina, and it is very prominent because this will be the host of the final match in the nearly 40-year-long career of the icon Sting. That's right, Sting, Steve Borden, WWE Hall of Famer, TNA Hall of Famer Sting, is going to be having his final match ever this coming Sunday, and it's going to be for AEW. And coincidentally, this will be held in the same venue where he first faced Ric Flair at the Clash of Champions in March of 1988, which was considered to be the match that established Sting as a main event star in professional wrestling. And these are the matches that are set for that show. Let me get that pulled up here. I just had it, and it just... just bear with me, fans. I'm sorry. It just disappeared on me. I'm trying to pull it up. I just had it. Here we go. I pulled it up. I do apologize. So these are the matches that will be happening on the card this coming Sunday. FTR, Dax Hardwood, and Cash Wheeler will take on the Blackpool Combat Club team of Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli in a tag team match. A match dubbed Meat Madness, where it's going to be a bunch of big men slapping meat, according to, wrestling fans. Wardlow versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Lance Archer. A singles match for the AEW TNT Championship. Christian Cage with Killswitch, Mother Wayne, and the Prodigy Nick Wayne will take on Daniel Garcia. In a one-on-one match, Kanoshka Takeshita will take on the debuting Will Ospreay. Singles match for the Continental Crown Championship, which is the AEW Continental Championship, the ROH World Championship, and the NJPW Strong Openweight Championship. If Bryan Danielson loses, he has to shake the hand of Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston will defend the Continental Crown Championship against Bryan Danielson. A singles match for the AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Toni Storm with Mariah May and Luther defend the title against Deonna Purrazzo. A singles match for the AEW International Championship. Roderick Strong will challenge Orange Cassidy for the AEW International title. A three-way dance for the AEW World title. Samoa Joe defends the AEW World title against Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland. And in the main event, this will be Sting's retirement match. A Tornado Tag Team match for the AEW World Tag Team titles. Sting and Darby Allin, they are the current AEW World Tag Team Champions, and they will defend the AEW World Tag Team titles against Matthew Jackson and Nicholas Jackson, a.k.a. the Young Bucks. This, I talked about a few months ago. I was not super keen on Sting's final match being with the Young Bucks. I just was never really... I'm not a huge fan of the Young Bucks. I think Sting deserves more. I figured Sting would be in a tag team match because maybe Sting just can't carry a singles match at his age at this point in time. But I don't know. I feel like Sting deserves more. But hopefully this works out. Hopefully Sting is given the send-off that he truly deserves in professional wrestling. Sting has always been one of my favorite wrestlers since I first got into professional wrestling all the way back in 1997. See, I had never known about Sting's prior life as Surfer Sting with the blonde flat top and the colorful face paint. When I got into professional wrestling in 1997, I was only 9 or 10 years old. Sting was already doing the black and white crow gimmick where he would sit in the rafters and just watch from the top of the rafters, staring down at the ring in his fight against the New World Order, where he would be descending from the rafters, and then he would just go to town, just beat the crap out of every member of the NWO, just Sting and a baseball bat. One man army against the NWO. That was the Sting that I was introduced to at that time period in my life. It wasn't until many years later, as I got older and became a more educated wrestling fan, that I did research. I would go back and watch old wrestling tapes that I would get from my local video store. I don't know if Larry B remembers this, if he's still in the chat room. The Video Time that was next to the Food for Less, which was across the street from our high school, Paris High School, back in Paris, California. Video Time was this little tiny hole-in-the-wall video store for any, younger listeners of my show, video stores were a place where you had to go and actually purchase videos to rent, where you would watch them, you'd rewind them, and then you would give them back to the video store. You could also buy movies there too, but I mean, as far as like just renting something and then bringing it back, that's what that was for. It's so crazy that I have to explain that nowadays. It's like, I guess the easiest way to explain it, it's like Redbox, but it's actually inside of a store. But Video Time had an enormous library of wrestling tapes there. I mean, I fell in love with that place once I found out they had this. They had a whole section of wrestling tapes. They even had some of the very first UFC cards there on VHS. And I would go there, I swear, like almost every weekend, I would beg my dad or my mom to take me there, and I would just rent tapes there and just watch all these old wrestling tapes and just get educated on these old wrestling. You know what I mean? Like that's how I learned like Hulk Hogan had a past life as, you know, say your prayers and eat your vitamins, brother. You know, what you gonna do? Because the Hulk Hogan I was introduced to was Hollywood Hulk Hogan, you know, for life, brother. And Scott Hall and Kevin Nash used to be known as Razor Ramon and Big Daddy Cool Diesel. Like, you know, anyway. So I educated myself on Sting's career that way. So, I mean, as a fan of Sting, I hope it all works out. I love Sting. Congratulations to Sting on a 40-year-plus career in professional wrestling. Godspeed to you, sir. I hope you have a fantastic match this coming Sunday. Sting's last match, AEW Revolution, this coming Sunday. Well, I'm getting down to the wire, guys. I'm down to the last few minutes of my show. So, with the end result of what took place at Elimination Chamber, we have 4 guaranteed main event title matches set for WrestleMania, April 6th and April 7th at Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. With the results of Rhea Ripley and Nia Jax's title match and the women's Elimination Chamber match, we now have the man versus the mommy. That's right. It'll be Becky Lynch challenging mommy Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. And then you got the Royal Rumble winner for the women, Bayley, challenging the women's champion, the WWE Women's Champion, Io Sky, at WrestleMania. And then after the conclusion of the men's Elimination Chamber, Seth Rollins' path to WrestleMania has been set. Seth freaking Rollins defends the World Heavyweight Championship against a man who has been on fire these last couple of months. I am talking about the Scottish psychopath, Drew McIntyre. This will be the 3rd championship match between the two of them, and I truly feel this will be Drew McIntyre's coming out party. I wholeheartedly believe Drew McIntyre may be walking out of Financial Field with that world title. And then in the main event, of course, this has got to be the main event for night 2 of WrestleMania in Lincoln Financial Field for the undisputed WWE Championship. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes challenging once again the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, for the undisputed WWE title. I cannot wait, guys. I have more news for you guys next week. Next week, I'll be headed to SmackDown in Dallas, and it's confirmed, if you saw my post about it on X, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, the newest member of the Bloodline, will be in Dallas. He is confirmed to be in Glendale, Arizona this coming Friday for SmackDown. Then he will return. He will be live in person in Dallas at the American Airlines Arena when me and my dad will be there in attendance. I cannot wait. I have not seen The Rock live in a wrestling setting since the very first wrestling show I ever attended in Anaheim, California in the summer of 2000. That's 24 years ago, the last time I saw The Rock in a wrestling ring. So, man, I cannot wait. Guys, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for tuning in to the IE Wrestling Show. Leave a like and share and subscribe. I will see you guys same SoCal Sane time, same SoCal Sane channel next week. Take care, guys. Peace!